I apologize for those of you who might have been waiting for a while. I didn't realize when I was setting this up for the first time that it was going to show a thing right away. So I'm just experimenting with my new camera setup. And I just wanted to hang out for a bit, and I figured, what the hell, So this is kind of interesting, and I like it. Jesus in the chat says, sweet, I haven't caught one of these. Thanks for tuning in, man. So I'm just gonna wait for a second and till there's at least 2 people in the room before I jump into anything here. But I do want to, I'm gonna throw a link to Randy Hillier's Twitter stream in the chat because I want everyone to follow this guy if they have a Twitter account. Really interesting. Oh, cool. There's like a whole bunch of people joining. Okay, thanks to anyone who's just tuning in right now. I'm just experimenting with this new camera in my room. Kind of think this is cool if I want to do live streams. I gotta set up my other computer so I can pull up my desktop and then be able to show things. This is just an old retro gaming computer that I have. But like I said, I'm just kind of experimenting tonight. I had a buddy who has a 3D printer custom make me this little case for a Pi 4, and then I got him. I'm because I'm an older guy now. I've never been into gaming, but I really like retro gaming. So I got him to friggin' deck this thing out with all the stuff I used to play as a kid. It's been really fun. But I got to figure out how to get my desktop back now because I don't know what he did when he set this up for me. Yeah, okay, so Jesus in the chat says his recent posts have been spicy. Everyone should be following Randy Hillier on Twitter if they're not already. I was joking around. One of my buddies showed me this morning, and he was like, "Yeah, I think Randy might have got a little drunk last night or something because he was on fire." And he's posting some pretty inflammatory stuff here. 23 hours ago, the last thing he tweeted was, "If your country was under siege, your family threatened, your freedoms removed, would you stand and fight? Would you bear arms? Are your children and their future worth defending? This is a survey, but soon it will be real and we'll know the truth." And then the survey was like, "Yes, no, I would rather run away." So, very interesting. Another tweet that he had underneath those, "We cannot fight nor defeat evil through kindness, politeness, nor courteous comments. We are in a cultural war between those who desire and aspire to collectively dishonestly and evil, and aspire to collective dishonesty and evil versus those who defend individual faith and freedom. Words are not enough. I stand with Jesus." So yeah, he's getting pretty spicy, and who knows how long he's gonna be allowed to stay on Twitter. So you should be following that for the time being if you're not already. Also, anyone out there that has never read Conan the Barbarian before, if you're looking for something awesome to read, you need to order yourself a copy or find yourself a copy of Conan the Barbarian, his stories, where they're collected together. Or just go online right away and read Robert E. Howard, the guy who created Conan the Barbarian, wrote this short essay called The Hyperborean Age, where he, it's short, it's like 12 pages or something, where he details the world before, or the world that Conan set in, which takes place after a cataclysm and takes place before recorded history. So he has all these proto-European races and describes how they get sent back, and he describes like the Atlanteans and everything. Anyway, I read it. It was really, really entertaining, and I recommend that a lot. Maybe you want to play Warcraft too, so I'm just gonna put that on for a minute while we're chatting. Just give me a second because I want to send a stream to this to a couple of my friends for a second. Also, by the way, if anyone hasn't checked out the video I put out yesterday, you should just check it out because, if you didn't catch this, the liberals have, are taking their plan a step further, and now they want to increase immigration from 300,000 to 400,000 a year, and they're going to do that by just basically allowing in 100% of applicants who meet this criteria of basically being not white and having some intersectionality claims, and not vetting them. So this is not going to be good. There's a link to the Sun article about that. John Fan says, "How are these times treating you?" Well, I hope you guys are like me and you're have some willpower and some common sense and some critical thinking skills and are now at, like me, a second-class citizen. So things are going all right for me. I still have a job, but despite not submitting to what the government is trying to make me submit to, so I can't complain. I'm doing all right for now. My goal right now, though, is on top of my regular job, is to just try to focus on Freebird more, because I think things are getting exciting and accelerating in spicy times, and I just kind of want to keep people up to date on some of the stuff that's going on. By the way, I'm not familiar with any modern video games. This is just stuff that I remember from like being a kid. I have no idea what people play these days. If anybody has any specific articles or anything in the news they don't feel like talking about, just put it in the chat and I'll start talking about it or bring it up. Or you can also show videos on my laptop too if we want to talk about something. When I was like 12 years old, this game was the shit. That would be like around, I don't know, 1998 or something like that. What's your thoughts on the Arizona audit? So I heard some of the results, but I don't think anything's gonna happen, right? Like, obviously, the whole thing is coming out that it was like rigged and everything. I don't know, like, if it's gonna actually matter though. I have zero faith in the system's ability to have like real elections anymore in Canada or the U.S. The whole thing is so corrupt at this point. I just typed in Arizona audit to see what Google would prompt me to, because I'm curious. So if you type in Arizona audit in Google, it gives you The Economist, Reuters, CNN, MSNBC, Salon, Brennan Center, these USA Today, PolitiFact. So these are all the research results are going to give you, which are all like left-leaning things. The first one, The Economist. Their headline is, "The Republican response to an absurd recount in Arizona underscores a threat to democracy." How ironic is that, eh? The way they've just weaponized the media to go, just completely weaponized and just to go out there and spread complete misinformation and propaganda is way beyond anything that I think any of us saw coming. I knew that the media was corrupt for like since I was in high school, but I never thought things were like gonna get this bad by the time I was 35. Yeah, John says Biden won more votes according to MSN, which is true if you count illegal votes. That's probably very true. Illegal votes, or just fiction, or just votes that just manufactured, just made up. To be honest with you, I don't really like. I reluctantly got an iPhone, and the quality of the camera in the iPhone 12 is better a lot better than my DSL Canon camera in many ways. So I gotta be honest, the iPhone 12s are pretty good if you want like a decent camera. That's what I'm using right now for this stream. Son of a bitch. Yuri, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you in the chat. We need to do some boxing sometime soon, buddy. What are you saying these days? Yuri's a friend I met at a rally, and ironically, even though I still support the PPC, at the time there were people internally, probably that Caleb guy that reprimanded Yuri for taking a picture with me, which pissed me off because when I was as Freebird Media, I've tried to, I've been pretty supportive of the PPC from day one, so I don't know why I don't know what their problem was with Freebird Media, but Yuri was told not to. At the time, I think Yuri was associated with the PPC, so he was literally told to like not take pictures with me, which is weird. John says, anything Apple should be forbidden. Samsung, Androids are the way to go. The gizmos and gadgets of Apple are overrated. You're probably right, and I also wish I could I know that my phone spies on me, and I'm fully aware of like this horrible like dystopian world that we're in, and how the degree to which it does and can spy on me. But like I also recommend having this is considered like my professional work phone at this point, but anything that you don't want, you just got to be conscious of what it is and turn it off, or like not have it on you at certain times, but be conscious of the fact that if you're carrying an iPhone around like I am most of the time, it's definitely monitoring the shit out of everything I do. And the algorithm got so smart and so sophisticated so fast, it's fucking terrifying. One of the reasons I'd like to stream more, eventually I want to do like more on location streaming at events and stuff. I've just been working a lot lately, so I'm not able to go to the freedom rallies or anything like that. But I think my streams can be monetized while they're live, but the moment they're not live anymore, they're just instantly flagged and demonetized. Oh, my little elf dudes are dead. Shit. Fucking asshole. Fuck you. Yeah. Every time I watch the Golden Ones YouTube channel, I end up like wanting to either work out or play some medieval themed video game. Also, by the way, if you like the Golden Ones YouTube channel, which I recommend everyone follow, I bought his book to support him. It's really good, Dauntless. Everyone should just, I don't know, if you want to support like European bioculture and also have an awesome book, you should just order it online, support him. Oh, I just got slaughtered. Oh well. This is what's your Muslim friend up to? He is in Alberta, being an entrepreneur, running a small business, and I wish I could get him to join one of these streams. Actually, just while we're chatting, I'm going to try to get a Nomf in here because that'd be fun. Everyone running, my heart goes out to everyone who's trying to run a small business right now, because obviously, everything has gone to shit and these regulations are bullshit. I'll see if I can get an off in here just to lighten. You know, the more I have to live in Toronto and deal with feminism, the more appealing white Sharia becomes, I'll be honest, as the days go on. It starts to cross the mind, you know what I'm saying? My Note 5 bricked on me last month and I caved and got the Note 20 Ultra for business, the best tracking. Yeah, all these smartphones are tracking everything we do and say, so... Oh, that reminds me, I also still need to... I have Ted Kaczynski's The Anti-Tech Revolution. I haven't had time to read it yet, but I'm really curious about that because something's going to happen in the next 10 years as, you know, they try to implement this Agenda 2030 stuff, and in the meantime, like, things are going to get chaotic because I think that the whole point of what they're doing right now is to basically wreck the economy on purpose to eventually bring in, you know, like social credit, etc. So while the economy crashes and they have all these artificial food shortages that they say are coming and everything, things are going to get a little messy. Awesome. DJ Duncan Media says 90% corporate taxes can cure the cancer. Even retards like Bernie Sanders are right a couple of times in their life. Yeah, true. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Also, shout out to anyone who voted PPC in the last election like me. I wish that I could have done more to support the PPC besides vote for them. Like, if I hadn't, like, I was not expecting the election to be called. Obviously, things happened really fast, and then I was working all the time and couldn't really book off the time for work. But in hindsight, I tried to support the PPC as much as I could, and watching all these conservatives who got their asses kicked cope and like just lash out at the PPC for vote splitting is so old and fucking like ridiculous and stupid. I know I got a few of my family members this time to vote PPC who were normally right on. Enough, isn't it? Okay, enough. Join the chat. Hello, folks, ready to fight for Taiwan's independence. Yeah, so I think Anam thinks that the draft is coming in the future to fight China, and I'm curious if anybody here, how they would respond to being drafted by our government in 5 years to fight China. At that point, do you completely attack your own government, or what do you do? Also, China right now is, for anyone who doesn't know, China's taken steps by implementing masculinity training in their high schools, and they're outright banning like having effeminate homosexual characters in primetime television and stuff like that. And at the same time, you know, they're obviously doing everything they can to fund and spread cultural Marxism around here, where we have all this like rainbow stuff going on with LBT, GQ+, 10, 5, whatever. Not going to go good 10 years down the road. I'm playing Warcraft 2 on a RetroPie on a PS2 controller, but this was released on PS1, so playing this without a mouse is really hard. Duncan says, I was a PPC president and campaign manager 2019. What are your thoughts? I'm curious because I was talking to a few people recently who are friends and big supporters of this channel who are also PPC voters and worked at polling stations. And I'm curious, I know you're like me, you're currently still supporting the PPC. So what was your experience like overall in 2019? Would you ever consider doing it again? Duncan says, Unabomber Manifesto should be a constitutional charter. I just gave that to a buddy of mine last night. Literally, I had Industrial Society on my shelf there when we were drinking, and then it turned out he hadn't been Kaczynski pilled yet, so I basically lent him my copy and made him promise to read it within the week, so we'll see what his thoughts are at the end of the week. Yeah, now says the draft is coming 100%. They need loads of bodies on the ground to rush the place. I guarantee you every feminist is going to disappear like a fart in the wind if they ever introduce the concept of drafting women into the military, into real war, into actual combat. Although I really like the movie Starship Troopers, and sometimes I wonder how that would work out if we put women in combat. John says the Democrats have proposed a draft in the Senate for males and females. There's an open depop. I did not hear about that. That's crazy. Globalists want to go with the U.S. into a war in which there'll be mass casualties. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. That's why we need to do not get conned into fighting some like ridiculous scheme for globalists. You think after everything by now people wouldn't know better than to like buy into all this propaganda and shit around us? It's ridiculous. Duncan says, no, we got 158 votes, but like I left the party after the shame of being Andrew Scheer, Niagara Region's director for his campaign for leadership. Oh, bummer. I'm gonna try this one more time. Num says, you and I are going to be on the same vessel, just watch. Yeah, maybe, man. We're all going to go down together. First round draft pick. They'll probably fast track all of us that vote at PPC as troublemakers and just be like, these people have all conveniently been drafted together. And, you know, frontline. Be like these guys in the boats. First one's on the shore. Now, if you ever seen the movie Starship Troopers, what do you think about the idea that only people that serve in the military or do civil service get to vote, like actually become citizens? Maybe that'd be a good solution to our current democracy problem. Also, regarding the Taliban, they're like completely against the you know the shots. So that and a bunch of other things are making me question how bad they really are. Because they got a lot of common sense going on in some ways, and also taking down that pride flag as soon as they chased the U.S. out was hilarious. I thought. All right. That form of government is called a stratocracy. I did not know that. Let's make MMA co-ed like the military, just the science. Basically, because they're letting transgender people compete in MMA now, I think it pretty much is, because a guy that tries to pretend to be a woman beating up actual women it's just a man fighting a woman. Also this year, the U.S. getting their ass kicked at the Olympics was like pretty awesome to behold. giant metaphor for their whole society. Alexander Roberts says, pretty sure the new draft law lets women opt out if they don't want a driver's license, government job, or student loan. Based? Yeah, maybe. Pretty funny. I can't believe that this is actually a thing now where like drafting women is sort of like legitimately on the table of discussion. I think the part of me would absolutely love to see all these radical feminists just get completely caught off guard by being actually drafted into combat. There would be something like, there would be a little bit of poetic justice to that. Uncle Ted's manifesto is framed on my wall out of respect and homage. See, the thing about Ted Kaczynski is, I just absolutely do think what he, like his violent actions are morally abhorrent. I don't condone any of his like goofy behavior, but the industrial society is it's pretty hard to disagree with anything he writes in that. He definitely called it. Yeah, more than anything, I was thinking about movies like when in the 90s, like Demolition Man and stuff. They predicted a lot of things, right? But or like Idiocracy, for example. But nobody really saw how like, oh, you son of a, how the LGBT stuff getting so ridiculously out of hand. Come here, you son of a bitch. Fuck you. Oh, you killed my mage. This guy. Alright. I know you son of a bitch. Ah, well. If anyone just joined in now, didn't catch what I was saying earlier, you should follow Randy Hillier on Twitter. I'm going to link his Twitter in the stream again. Very interesting comments from this guy lately. This is the first time I've tried to use my phone to stream like this. I can actually see the comments pop up on there when it's in this shooting mode, so I like that. Pretty cool. I'm pretty satisfied with this phone overall. Yeah, anyone who has Twitter, if you're not already following Randy here, follow this guy. John says white Sharia will rise from the ashes. Stop gaming and troll What do you want me to troll, Duncan? Wish I had two phones so I could call people while I was streaming, but if I'm using my phone to stream, I can't call anyone. Well, be more specifically, like, how do I troll people? Like, I can't, this is a gaming computer I have. I can't ring it up so you can see my laptop right now. everyone. Ronnie Cameron doesn't exist anymore, so I can't troll him. He was a lol cow for a while. He was always good for a laugh. He kind of disappeared though. I almost miss him. Pure white trash. Enough, buddy. Who should we troll? Honest to God, the last time my buddy and I looked into Ronnie to try to like see what he was up to, this was like 6 months ago. He was talking some young he was trying to do conversion therapy on a live stream to some like gay 12-year-old kid, and I thought it was the most pathetic thing I'd ever seen in my life. Really it was just really sad. And then after that he just kind of disappeared. See if he's still on Twitter. Whoever came up with that Kijiji ad for Ronnie's foreskin and was sharing it around, that was the funniest shit I ever saw. When I just typed in Ronnie Cameron in Twitter, the first thing that came up was Ronnie Cameron's foreskin and a link to a Kijiji ad from some random account. That's amazing. Yeah, he's blocked me on everything, but he also doesn't seem to like be like a thing anyway at all anymore. There's a tweet from Kurt Phillips from the ARC blog from November 8th, 2020 that says, another person who I used to keep tabs on when running the blog was Ronnie Cameron, a white nationalist, doesn't understand why other white nationalists are upset he is dating a biracial woman. He's also really into tank tops and flexing. I love it when these two idiots insult each other. I'm going to share this tweet too. This is gold. I don't know how Kurt Phillips is still employed by the Catholic School Board. That just blows my mind. True tragedy for the Catholics, just Catholics in general, the way they've, the system has been so subverted. Ronnie is a gay 12. Ronnie was 12 years old. He wouldn't have lost all of his hair already. Or who knows, maybe his genetics really are that inferior, I don't know. But he doesn't exist anymore, really, in a troll sense. We gotta think who else we can talk to. Kurt says Ronnie was also gloating about the imminent win by Trump and then drinking of liberal tears. You guys check out this Sorry guys, there's a couple of articles I wanted to share with the chat, but I can't find them now. Give me a sec. By the way, anybody have any predictions for the next UFC card? Or the Usman-Covington rematch? What's the next pay-per-view? 67. Oh, Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira is October 30th. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to put all my money on Jan, but that is going to be an awesome slugfest. Also, Dan Hooker and Islam Makhachev will be a good submission battle. Yeah, I don't think anyone really thinks Teixeira is going to beat Jan Blachowicz, but it'll definitely be a really good punching fight. Son of a bitch. Okay, so yeah, it's Blachowicz and Teixeira on the 30th, and then a month later it's the Usman Covington rematch. I think that's a 50-50, so just because I like Covington for being a Trump supporter, I'm going to support him, hope he wins. Back to the chat, I thought Anybody in the chat here actually get one of those passports so they can go to the movies and concerts and all that? Or is everybody like me and hasn't got the paperwork yet? Saw a bunch of my friends at an Instagram at a baseball game the other day, and I was like, "How the hell did you pull that off?" And they all like had their papers somehow. I have no idea how they did it. Oh, that's one of the things I wanted to share. Somebody got busted paying a homeless guy to get their vaccine for him the other day. I'm trying to, let me see if I can pull this up. What was it? I don't know where it is. I'll have to find it later. But yeah, there's some guy got charged up north for paying someone else to. I think got charged with fraud. I don't know what he got charged with. We got in a bunch of trouble for getting some homeless guy to try to get him his vaccine passport. You know, it blows my mind how many people are entrepreneurs running small businesses that are supporting what's going on right now, which is clearly going to like basically put them out of business. Like, how can people be so short-sighted? It really boggles the mind, you know? It's like there's a bookstore on College Street that always has like Antifa books in it, and like they were right in the like crosshairs of where all the riot was going to destroy everything last time. The media whipped everyone into a frenzy. So like, just because they have like that stuff in the window isn't going to protect them. And why they would like, I was like, I don't wish anything bad on anyone specifically, but I was like, it'd be serious karma if those people got their windows smashed in by the mob. Damn it. Hey, Fanny, good to see you. I was gonna tell you to join the chat. Actually, I'm glad that you noticed this was up. I finally got a decent camera and like the ability to live stream right now. So tonight I'm just goofing around with this setup, seeing how my internet connection is and stuff like that. And everything seems to be going well, so I might be able to start doing more like news streaming on a regular basis. Before I used to stream with my Canon DSLR camera hooked up to my laptop, but honestly this iPhone 12 has like a broader lens and like just a better quality camera overall, so I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, Ananth, we definitely should, man. I have been meaning to catch up with you for a while. I've been do boxing training every morning these days, and then I go to work, and by the time I get home at the end of the day after doing like a full shift after training, and then I usually got to do a few errands and stuff like that, and sometimes I try to do another mini workout when I get home. I'm usually exhausted, and then like I sit down and I usually want to run. I should be way more productive, even though I'm like working all the time, like working on stuff I actually want to do, like publishing a book and stuff like that. I get so exhausted. I gotta find. That's also why I keep chugging black coffee and like have this serious addiction to it. I need to be more disciplined. Actually, get stuff done. Get back to like getting more articles published, and get my Teespring back up. Fanny says I was watching the second episode of Squid Game. Nice to catch up live. So yeah, I saw all of Squid Game, by the way. Pretty good. My one friend said he probably wasn't gonna watch it because it had subtitles and he hates subtitles. But Squid Game is like pretty good entertainment, worth watching. It had like good twists and stuff like that. Fanny, I was just telling people to follow Randy Hillier on Twitter if they don't already. I put a link up at the beginning of the stream. He's getting really spicy on Twitter, and I don't know how long he's gonna last, so I'm just telling everyone to follow his stream. Also, I've been meaning to publish an article about this. Let me just pull this up for a second. There's a mural that went up in Elmer, Ontario, near where I grew up, and it's supposed to represent the community, and it doesn't represent the Amish or any people that are actually there, and it's got like it's like just the most cultural Marxist mural you've ever seen, with all these people that aren't actually from the community there, and then all like groups that are in the community not actually represented. Let me pull this up. So someone I know, sort of contacted the county and was like, "This doesn't really make sense. You should let me paint a better mural." And I just want to pull this up to show you what. The Elmer is like a rural area. There's like legitimate Amish communities there and stuff. It's not like an LGBT stronghold, let's put it that way. I gotta find this. Where is it from? Sorry, guys. Let me check here. Yeah, okay, I got it. Check this out, guys. It's got a black woman, a black guy, a woman with blonde hair, what looks to be kind of like a native guy, and then another white guy in the back, and then a pink-haired girl. And one of the black guys has a thing around his neck with the blue, pink, white thing, so kind of indicating he's got lipstick on, so he's like a transgender black guy. I don't think there's any transgender black people in Elmer, Ontario. It's actually really funny to think about. Hold on, check this out. Yeah, Fanny says, well, they're engaging in second-class citizen in their BC and gathering the unvaccinated community to support each other and have our parallel society. Fuck the clown. Yeah, that's basically the ongoing theme of this channel now. Fanny's like me, second-class citizen, in the sense that we're not going to have these ridiculous passports, so we do have to all kind of band together and basically just work on supporting this new parallel society, support each other's businesses. Just from all the stuff that I see like online and all the channels I follow, it looks like manufactured food shortages could pop up at any point. All this other crap and like all the prepping stuff I always talked about is turning out to be way more practically useful than I thought. Anam says, long story short, I started theology training recently. I've had too much time on my hands also. Oh man, that's awesome. Says there will be no parallel society. The West does not have the same chopset population control that China has. Well, we already have a parallel society. We have it right now. It's just a matter of like how long is this going to go on and how serious it is. But I know like a lot of people are pulling their kids out of the schools. A lot of people are going to start homeschooling their kids. Masses and max. Obviously, like there's going to be the majority of people. I don't know how big the majority is, but the majority of people will be vaccinated. But also all the like smart, all the human capital, all the smart people are going to be rejecting these passports, and things are going to get messy. So I think that not enough people will take the passport, and eventually, after a certain amount of years, it will fail. It's just going to be really shitty for a while. That's me being optimistic. By the way, guys, this chat automatically holds a lot of these comments. So just so you know, if you make a comment, it's not there. It's not because I'm like blocking anyone or anything like that. There's most of these I have to go back and like approve. So apologies on that. And says social credit system in Canada unlikely, man. We don't even have enough surveillance and all that. I think I think what the elites are literally trying to do right now is get us there by 2030 and can transition us into a cryptocurrency that they control. So I definitely think that what the powers that be are trying to trash the economy right now on purpose with these vax passports, so that so many people go out of business that the general population just accepts social credit, which is super shitty. I don't have any cryptocurrency of my own. I prefer like a Canadian currency and just money, but I should diversify and get some crypto. The thing is, I don't know. I'm not sophisticated enough to really understand crypto at all. And, hold on a second. I got a notebook here, though. I should make notes if anyone has anything specific to tell me tonight. But I should diversify a little bit and invest some money in some kind of crypto because it's just best to have a mix of, even physical cash, like money in the bank, and then crypto would be ideal. I don't know what the point of having like from a prepping point of view. I wanted to make a video or an article, like more content on prepping, but I don't understand the point of like physical gold and silver the way some people hoard it. Like it's not like I can take a chunk of gold to the supermarket, right? Like in reality, like what does just hard physical gold and silver do me in a sort of post-apocalyptic scenario, or a scenario where we're transitioning off of from real money to the social credit. Like I don't think people really understand what they want to do. Like it's not just that they want people using cryptocurrency. It's that they want. It's not really going to be money though. It's like a credit system. It's like a crypto credit system. So it's like crypto technology kind of, but you're renting things. You don't even get to buy things with your cryptocurrency. It's super shitty. Duncan says Dan Pena's statement on Bitcoin says it all. I've seen Dan Pena on Rogan before, but what did he say specifically about Bitcoin? Also, like the algorithms that they have now are already super sophisticated. This thing right now is being watched in real time by or monitored by this thing that when we say keywords, it's already flagged. I'm sure this whole stream is demonetized already, and it's all pervasive. I mean, the phone and the computer, and for me, I'm using Mac products, so they're connected and like analyzing everything I say as I say it. So imagine even more years of development with these algorithms. Fanny says, Alex, let's book a daily live stream on Instagram. I have a list of topics to cover daily, weekly. Why do you prefer Instagram, Fanny, to YouTube? I just like YouTube because there's a small of like I can monetize. Like I think it stays monetized while it's live and stuff. And even if every stream I just made a tiny amount of stuff, it would add up to just something in the end. But yeah, we can do Instagram this week if you want. Maybe Tuesday would probably work for me. I'll DM you afterwards. We'll figure it out. Duncan, do you have a link like to a YouTube video or anything with the quote on the gold standard by J.P. Morgan you're talking about? Evan says, "Are you winning, son?" I guess we're not winning yet, but we're doing better in life than most of the people on the far left are, so we're kind of winning. And we're not mentally ill or obese. We're on welfare. Says Freebird, I don't disagree per se. It's just a question of quality. The Chinese have a far more tightly run surveillance system and parallel society. Well, what West surveillance system? What's their AI like and their algorithms like compared to us? Because aren't they still using technology that's developed in the West? Also, what do you mean? What kind of parallel society does China have? Fanny, I think you were talking to a PPC candidate out in BC recently, right? Who did you say that was? Who did you talk to? And what did you think about them? Was it a PPC candidate in your riding out there? Lauren Southern started doing political streams on Twitch. Why is Twitch better than, or what's the appeal of Twitch? Oh yeah, Fanny says James Hinton. Are you gonna eventually interview him, and is he gonna run again for the PPC? I'm curious if anybody in the chat voted for someone else other than the PPC in the last election, or didn't vote, or spoiled their ballot, or is everyone right now that's sort of chatting in here PPC supporter? John Van sends a super chat, $5, super appreciated, man. Thanks. He says there will be no going back to normal, and I'm glad. Thanks for sending that in and highlighting it, because I absolutely 100% agree with you. And there is no going back to normal. That's why I'm even kind of trying to do these streams more, because all of us that are sort of aware of this and are, like I said, kind of being turned second class citizens, we all need to keep banding together, communicating, and be able to network, especially when like certain challenges are definitely coming. Like, and society is different, right? And the more we can avoid healthcare system, the better. So in general, like, we need to start doing, like, really implementing all the stuff I was always talking about, like keeping ourselves physically fit, working out all the time, eating properly, staying away from pharmaceuticals, homeschooling our kids, keeping them out of the public school system, staying away from healthcare as much as we can, because they're obviously gonna like, this is gonna get messy, and they're gonna come for us, and like, if as long as we don't get these things, they're gonna like eventually deny us healthcare. I know it's gonna cause serious problems for those of us that need surgeries and stuff. So all I can say in the meantime is like, try to focus on your health holistically as much as possible. Also, like, education sucks these days. I was thinking, like, there's a lot of, we need to teach younger people how to think, and like basically make our own. I want to use YouTube to basically try to like make more educational content or something that can like and like can keep stuff alive, like the Western canon in literature, for example, something I really care about, and it's basically gonna like not even be taught at all in school anymore. And a lot of the truth is that it's deep quality stuff that like other cultures didn't generate literature like the same as the West did, and a lot of the stuff's not gonna be, people are being dumbed down, and like the stuff's not gonna be taught. A lot of it's just kind of like fade into obscurity, and that's sad, you know. So like, I wouldn't mind like streaming more about fitness a lot, but like books, what's worth reading, like studying like classical stuff, history, and then any kind of like, so like I'm gonna split up my time moving around more between the city and like Norfolk County, and even go up Ottawa area a bit and just film stuff, get outside more. City's very like, I don't know how I have been able to stay quite as healthy as I have in this city, considering like the people around me, the stuff in the environment, and the propaganda, and the air quality can't be like, it's just so like when I go home, like to the country, and I get out of the city, it's so much, it's so nice now just to be able to, and to be able to walk around barefoot outside is something I like I like it's I like Toronto was a lot more fun obviously before everything changed, and now it's just like kind of gross. I mean, if they start piling all these people into this country, where's it 400,000 people a year, were they going to stick them all in the west coast in Toronto to begin with, or like try to move them around? I don't know. But yeah, John, back to John Vance's comment, they will be going back to normal. Totally agree. The one advantage we have is that we're at least we're more stressed and frustrated because we realize this, but other people are like total sheepdog. I haven't even begun to process or recognize what's going on yet. So like, imagine still thinking like this far into this charade that like this is all real and in you know, meant for people's hell. I don't want to get I'm going to get in legal trouble just for talking about this stuff, but you know, I'm just deeply skeptical of it all, to say the least. Evan says, I'm not familiar with YouTube, Instagram live streams, but I know Twitch has a built-in donations option, the ability to subscribe. Okay, yeah, that makes it's probably, it sounds like it's a lot easier to make money with and like to monetize, so that makes, I should probably look into that. I don't even know how people, so like John Vance super chat, I really appreciate it. I don't even know how people do that, so the fact that they know how to do that through YouTube is awesome, because I don't. Fanny says, I'm getting to know more local PPC supporters here in the area. Moved recently, end of January. Many places only serve me higher vaccinated people. One thing I say is back home in Norfolk County, where I'm from, is it's farming area, so traditionally it's always blue. It went conservative again this time, like it always does. But there was a huge boost in PPC. Like I went home, I barely saw any signs at all anywhere, except a lot of purple signs and the occasional like blue sign and like one liberal sign, but. Most people obviously vote out of brand loyalty, so I don't think the only people that actually had any excitement or believed in what they were actually doing were the PPC people, who definitely, like, there was a huge growth. I voted PPC the last time around too. Seemed like way more people this time around, and an energy like a genuine. It is definitely a genuine like populist movement, grassroots populist movement with a lot of like good energy. So that's encouraging. At the same time, what's not encouraging is that immigration is going to continue to go, and it's going to be mostly non-white people, and they are going to basically it's going to be a huge growth in the coming years for the NDP. So the PPC, in my way, is a one way of kind of like self-identifying people who have the similar values and stuff like that. Although not everyone, not all of us are going to be PPC supporters per se, but. Or even I have friends who are, you know, vaccinated, but just don't support everything. So anyone who doesn't want to go along with being like so submissive to this government tyranny, we all have to be our own separate kind of subculture, and it's good that people are coming together. Evan S says, mental health is physical health. They fear bomb people for a good reason. It's so effective. 100% agree with you. 100% there. Anam sends $20 super chat. Mega appreciated, man. Can't thank you enough. That's awesome. He says, first the draft, then the defeat in detail, then a balkanized West and a dysgenic normal. The U.S. will be divided up akin to how China was early 1900s. Europe will suffer a similar fate. Islam ascendant overall, inshallah. So there is Anam's spicy take on this. You know, the chilling thing about this is that it's not an unrealistic thing in some ways, like at all, to predict this wave. I don't think the draft will actually happen, but it's a possibility. It's like, at least it's like a 40% possibility, so it might happen. Realistically, if the war between China and the West breaks out, China will probably win that, because we've been hollowed out and sissified and everything. So yeah, let's say a draft could happen, then a defeat, then a balkanized West. Yeah, that would happen once China wins and becomes a superpower. We would kind of like break up into chunks, because that's why they're already crowding us with all these people and these separate. You know, that's when basic sociobiology kicks back in, basic biology, and people balkanize, go around their own groups. So yeah, and a dysgenic normal, 100%. Yeah, by that time, everything, all the good history and wisdom will be of lost, and all the low quality people overbreeding will definitely have kicked in and everything else. So yeah, that, and then Europe will suffer a similar fate. Yeah, probably, because they're even worse with what they've done there. And then Islam ascendant overall is, in the grand scheme of things, because Islam does have a bunch of stuff figured out, and they're not engaging in any kind of like eugenics or population control or anything. They could eventually overtake China. So who knows? In the long run. Anyway, Duncan says PPC signs because people are educated. Oh, sorry, thought you were making fun of country folk are dedicated. No, very true. There's like the only people back home that had any like genuine enthusiasm for this election and weren't just voting out of a brand loyalty were PPC for sure. And says, have you checked out LOGH yet? The author goes over how after democratic government, the emperor of mankind used eugenics to cull the population from 300 billion to 25 billion. Remind me what LOGH stands for, but that sounds awesome. 300. Imagine 300 billion human beings like spread around the galaxy. That'd be crazy. China is 90% on markets they could go to war with. The books go over in detail what happens after democracy fails. I'm curious what's gonna happen. Like with all the immigration they're trying to bring in now, they're trying to bring in people who are intersectional, so people that have like multiple identities. So it's not going to actually be coherent groups of people. It's not like a whole bunch of like people in the Muslim community and then a whole bunch of like people that identify like black people and like whatever. It's going to be like all kinds of people that like just are become so individualized that like they're all like individual cells. So maybe they'll all just clump together in like a neo-communist block or something when we break down into like and I'll just call it the fall, when America is no longer the superpower and our currency is not the main thing. By the way, there's a really good Daniel Natal video. I'm gonna just hold on, guys. I'm gonna share this in the chat. I really like Daniel Natal. Kind of a funny looking older dude, but really smart, and I really like his videos, and they don't get enough views by any stretch. So I'm gonna share this. Sub to the New American magazine. He puts out these short videos, these monologues here, but he's really good at writing things and expressing things like succinctly and efficiently in small things, in small like digestible clips. But he put one out recently that I specifically wanted to share. Where did it go here? Bargaining. Okay, the best video he's ever done is the first one I'll share. Actually, Bargaining with a Chimp, it's called. Anyone who hasn't seen this needs to watch this video. Just a second here. Of course, it's going to give me a hard time here. Hold on. Daniel Natal, where are you? Here we go. Oh wait, and the one that China banning sissy boys, I'll share that too. Here, hold on one sec, guys. Just got this thing pulled up. So this to me is an obvious indicator that they're like anticipating war. I mean, why else would you start putting such a huge emphasis on masculinity? So that video is definitely worth checking out. And then hold on, there's another one I gotta find. There's actually so many. Okay, another one I wanted to share. There's one he writes here that's like a short video, and it starts off talking about Disney characters and how they're marketing like villains and now as heroes. But in the second half, he starts talking about people and how it's been discovered that a lot of people don't have an internal monologue. And I want to share this because I've been telling people about this. It's really friggin' weird to think about how we're realizing like a lot of people don't have the same kind of internal stuff going on. And I think it has to do with neuroplasticity and the fact that they don't use their brain for critical thinking, so they've literally lost the ability to do so. But let me see if I can just find this video here. Sorry. I wonder if now that the U.S. left Afghanistan, if China's going to go in there right away to try to get all those natural resources, and it's just going to be like the next sort of superpower to get their ass kicked slowly by China. Here it is. In this thing here, I'm going to share this link right now called Disney Princesses. It's only, yeah, it's like 7 minutes long. Definitely worth watching. So I guess just trying to see if let me know if my stream froze or if it's still working. I can't tell, because my laptop just kind of froze up. Let me know in the chat. Let me know if it's frozen or if it's still streaming fine. Says the copper mine already has a Chinese company in it. Interesting. Stream is working. Okay, thanks, Evan. Duncan says neuroplasticity is bargaining with a chimp. Yeah, true. That video is really important. I'm gonna find it. Hold on one second, guys. Also, on that note, I put a video out already before, but for those of you that well, everyone should get a copy of this book, Functional Training and Beyond by Adam Sinicki, and because it's about like. He has a channel called The Bioneer, and he just talks about ways to train your body to get all these kind of like awesome abilities. And the brain, like what something that's obvious to me that a lot of people they don't appreciate this because they haven't been explained all this stuff is like how the brain is like a muscle, like any other part of your body, right? So you can obviously like exercise your brain, and we're realizing now like neuroplasticity gives us so much, ability that we didn't know we had, right? And this book has a lot of like the last third of it just shows you all kinds of ways to like work with the neuroplasticity of your brain, which is really good. And I think like literally people don't are not using their brains anymore, and they're they're becoming like, you know, rigid and not working well. Sorry, my stream's messed up here. Just give me a second. It was working perfectly up until now. Yeah, Duncan says you train your thinking. Absolutely. It's why meditation and visualization are so good. We're not really taught like in school or anything about like meditation, what it's like physically does to your brain in terms of neuroplasticity or how to train it. Sorry, Duncan, I see your comments when they pop up for a second, and they're not coming up on my thing. So sorry. Duncan says no one is born gay. No, I don't know who said anything about people being born gay. Sorry guys, this is taking my computer a minute here to fix this for some reason. Oh, and the bargaining with a chimp video. Sorry, Pickle Media says, I cannot type anything in the chat. I have to copy and paste. I must have said something naughty. I don't know. I have... No, I see your comment there in the chat. I don't know if any comments that are being held right now, it's happening automatically. I don't hold anyone's thing, so I don't know what your comment was. Weird. Maybe it flagged you before for something. To be honest with Duncan says no one is born gay. I know in evolutionary psychology, homosexuality is actually one of the things that's still like not really understood. Obviously, there's like a developmental aspect to it, I guess, but how it interplays with biology, I don't know honestly. Mr. Dan says testing chat. Hi Alex. Hey Dan, thanks. I'm also just experimenting. Basically, got this new setup. I think the stream quality is going fine. Is anyone having any issues with is it being choppy or freezing? Or is it working for everyone? It was working for me. Now that I watched it though, it's not coming on my computer, but that might just because I'm doing too much now, like with one Wi-Fi connection. I don't know. Looks clear. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I was just curious if anyone in the chat voted. I voted PPC. I was wondering. I know Duncan did too. If anyone else voted for anything other than PPC. Also, because I've started thinking like most Freebird media supporters are PPC supporters. I mean, there's a natural huge crossover there just because of the kind of the values and the demographics just go together. Same free speech crowd mostly. A lot of them turn into like PPC supporters. Duncan saying homosexuality is a violation of natural. Probably, I think he meant nature. Yeah, for sure this stream's not gonna last long after I'm done. If anyone's just tuning in now and didn't catch it earlier, here's a link to a Facebook page where they put up a nonsensical diversity mural in Elmer, Ontario, representing like LGBT black people, but it doesn't even include the Amish on it. Where'd it go? Here's a link. Says I sent you the LOG snippet on Messenger, the YouTube film. Okay, I'll check it out. This looks pretty cool. Yeah, okay, so yeah, this is the show you were telling me about, right? This has been on my agenda to start watching for a while now. I don't know, I don't watch much anime, but the few that I really like a lot. Like Akira is like a masterpiece of a film, and I only discovered that a couple of years ago, even though it came out like in the 80s, the same year I was born. Anyone who hasn't seen Akira is missing out. I actually got to see it last summer in the theater for its, like, what was it, 35th anniversary or whatever. It was awesome. That's a solid film. Ghost in Shell, the original one, is another anime I really like. Like I said, I'm not very well viewed in anime. I only know a few, but the ones I know I really like. I remember liking the Animatrix too when it came out. I was in high school when the Animatrix came out, like in the Matrix franchise, and that was pretty good at the time. Here, I'll play it with some of the audio on because my stream isn't working.
宗務政治と化していったのです。
社会的活力が失われ、社会生活や文化は敗退の一途をたどった。人々は無気力化し、老若男女を問わず麻薬や酒、 性的乱行や神秘主義にふける者が続
This
出
is
した。
awesome. And this is
あ
on
るいはスピ
YouTube.
ードや暴力に刺激を求め、事故や犯罪が激増し、反比例して検挙率は低下した。生命を軽視し、モラルを嘲笑する傾向は深まる一方だった。
こうした傾向に一つの影響を与えたのは、地球統一以降、宗教の影響力が著しく低下したことではないかと言われています。13日戦争とその後の90年戦争という末世的世紀末的状況下においても、ついに救世主も現れず神も降臨せず、救いをもたらしてくれる絶対者などいないのだという認識のみが残ったのです。連邦の黄金時代にはそれらが自らの力を頼む積極性の源となっていたのですが、社会の沈滞期になると逆に救いのない絶望感をもたらしたのだと言えるでしょう。
これらの事態を憂慮する人々は無論数多く存在しました。そしてそうした人々の人類社会の病状は抜本的な治療を必要とするとの認識に誤りはなかったと言えるでしょう。
Clearly, Japan was way ahead of us in animation for a very long time. Check your IG DM. I'm using my phone to stream right now, so I don't know how to check my IG until I'm done using the phone, unfortunately. Cute Japanese gibberish. Yuri and I were discussing starting a fight club of sorts, doing some boxing training, but we got to find some other guys that live in the GTA that want to come out and train with us. That's another thing now, like it sucks if we don't have the passport. That makes training martial arts really difficult unless you know someone that you can train with regularly. Luckily, I have like one, I have my boxing coach, but it would be a lot better to have more sparring partners than what I have. Oh, the JP Morgan quote. Okay, awesome. God damn it. Anything else? Anybody got anything in the news they want to talk about? Just throw links in the chat if anything comes up or anyone feels like talking about anything specific. Oh, L1 and L2. Okay, I didn't even realize that. I'm not really much of a gamer. Like I said, I got my buddy to kind of like pimp out this retro Pi with all this old stuff on it. I'm just playing around with it. It's fun playing N64 games with a PS2 controller. Like, it's just a better controller though. Honestly though, since I got this, I spend more time just looking at games that exist that I had no idea existed than I did actually playing it. Like, there's all these awesome corporate mascots having their own video game was a big thing in the 90s apparently. Like, there's a Chester Cheetah game, and like the Noid had a Nintendo game, a bunch of other like just random stuff. Wish I had Turtles in Time so bad when I was a kid, but I never actually got to have Turtles in Time. Nick Diaz is emasculated, like I said. Anybody catch that Nick Diaz fight? That was tragic. I called that. I changed. I up until a few days before the fight, I thought that Diaz would come in with better cardio, and that Lawler has basically had a lot of miles under his belt and has taken a lot of beatings. And I thought that he'd be in not as good a shape, and that Diaz would win. But there's something about Diaz's body language and his whole like energy leading up to it, where I was like, nice. He's probably gonna get like KO'd in the third, and he did. And I don't know what. Even like afterwards, he gave us bizarre kind of like follow-up interview. I don't know why he took that fight. He must be desperate for money or something. I didn't understand it. Also, Duncan's got me into arm wrestling a bit, and Devin the Rat, who is a Canadian arm wrestling champion and special forces guy, true badass, had a fight against the Mountain from Game of Thrones recently. On like the Mountain won, but the Mountain been training for like 2 years, and like Devin the Rat took the fight on like a month's notice or something. And it was like a really interesting fight. So that happened. For anyone that didn't catch that, that was interesting. I think Fanny probably is gone now. She was in the chat earlier. She wants to talk this week. I wish I could. I gotta figure out how to get OBS set up or something so I can live stream with somebody, with another person on the screen again. And then like I'd like to talk to her a bit more. Good to have Fanny like reporting from British Columbia, and then me in Toronto. Figure out what's going on. It'd be nice to have just be different. I know if you're in Alberta, so I guess we've got even in this chat, we've got people kind of all over the country. Anybody, if anyone from the East Coast is watching, let me know in the chat. Who is my favorite fighter? My favorite I'm curious, Duncan, who are your favorite current UFC fighters? Anybody really? Anyone who watches UFC, let me know who your favorite fighters are. Like currently, like I would say right now, my favorite active fighters are probably Jan Blachowicz and Max Holloway is still really entertaining to watch at featherweight. I really like Holloway. The whole lightweight division is pretty stacked. I like Kobe Covington. I'll just say, like, I guess he's like our guy. So I like Covington. John Jones got arrested again. His career is not doing well. I kind of think he might not ever fight again. Honestly, he's such a fuck up. But for other fighters, yeah, I don't know. I'd say right now my favorite fighter is Jan Blachowicz. Polish power. The winning team. Oh man, the thing about like white Sharia is like genuinely like I talk to women all the time. Well, not all the time, but like a lot of like even just like friends I have that I've made that are like women in like places like Turkey. They're all so much more like all the ones that I talk to me. They're almost like more attractive. Like even the European Muslims in Turkey are just so much more sophisticated than the women here. Here in Toronto, everyone like. The majority of the women are like feminists, right? It's gross. So like I do understand how like the white Sharia meme it like starts to become appealing to people. Islam basically has kept their women from becoming completely like mentally ill space cases. A whole generation of Western women over here have been brain fried by an education system that was like basically intended to do that, and just corporate media and like garbage television and social media just completely destroyed like their minds. It's so sad. Anam says secularism is dysgenics. It usually seems to lead to it. Although I don't know if it necessarily has to, but it seems like it usually does, unfortunately. Tube Guy, what's up, man? If you're just tuning in, we're just talking about random stuff, talking about the UFC, talking politics. Who'd you vote for if you voted in the last election, dude? I know I had a list of articles I wanted to bring up and talk about. Now, off the top of my head, I can't remember most of them. It's really annoying how biased like Google has just become as a search. All the search engines really, they make it really hard to find stuff, like even mainstream media, like a day after it comes out, if it's not like really in line with the whatever narrative MSN wants to push. Also, if anyone out there has Instagram, follow Freebird Media on Instagram, because I share a lot of like just random shit posting and memes and shit, political stuff on there as stories. And on Instagram, actually, a lot more than like YouTube or anything. So if you have Instagram, follow Freebird Media on Instagram. So enough says I didn't vote. I did count the votes though as a deputy returning officer. So did you see a huge spike in orange NDP votes? I'm curious because I think NDP is probably like the way of the future. I think the PPC will like obviously grow as people start to like group together. It will grow a lot more than all the other parties except for the NDP, because I think like all these incoming or I don't know. I guess the immigration is intended by the Liberals to bring people in to vote Liberal, but the NDP I could see like just because of their Jagmeet Singh, like for racial reasons and all kinds of things, getting a huge amount of the immigrant vote coming in. John Vance says, I heard that Pastor Henry Hildebrandt might have his church seized by the Ontario government. Really? Because that would be super shitty. Man, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that happens, but it would be sad to hear it. $400,000 people a year, so almost half. So I assume that with all the increased immigration coming through at the 400,000, it's still not going to stop Roxham Road either. So with the illegal stuff, let's say 500,000 a year. So 5 years worth of growth is going to be alone. Even that in just 5 years is really significant on a national level. Not good. I wonder what'll happen in Quebec long term. Also, I wish Quebec would separate at this point. Preserve themselves. $800K including foreign students. This sucks. Tube Guy says, are you familiar with the channel Argent? He's a Canadian third positionist that has a pretty good channel. No, I'm not familiar with him though. Definitely check it out. Surprised I haven't heard of him actually. Does he ever network with like Cultured Thug or any of those guys in the States? Either way, I'm definitely gonna check out his channel. Here, I'm gonna make a note of it. John Vance says there's a Liberal candidate in Calgary that was changing conservative voting info pamphlets. People didn't know where to vote, and it got elected by a small margin. That's shitty. That's really shitty to hear about. There's so much slimy stuff that goes on in these elections. Jeremy McKenzie, Raging Dissident, best guy. Yeah, anyone who doesn't follow Jeremy McKenzie, Raging Dissident, also definitely follow him. He's a very outspoken guy, makes a lot of great points all the time. We got to support the people kind of in our scene that like talk about important stuff. And Raging Dissident, definitely worth following. So, most of you probably already follow him because one of the last interviews I did was with him. So I'm assuming you all know that, but definitely worth following, and on Instagram too. And says I gotta participate. Hold on, I gotta get him on the winning team as well. He will be great. And find me a really beautiful European-esque woman. See if you can find me the. Report back to me with the hottest women that you could set me up with, and we'll see if you can entice me into converting. Yeah, right now, if you're Duncan, if you're talking to me, I'm back in T-Dot right now, but next weekend I might go up to Ottawa with family, and then the weekend after that I'm gonna go back down to Norfolk, just trying to spend as much time out of the city on weekends as I can, because yeah, it's pretty gross right in Toronto in general now. Says it's not how it works. First you first convert, then contact the gals. Well, okay. There's got to be Muslim countries that are not that are more liberal versus conservative ones, right? What are the most progressive Muslim countries? Turkey. Because I'll have to date some of these women first so that I can use the love excuse as a reason to convert. Do some consultations. Meet the parents. Yeah. John Vance says, has anyone had the coof this season? I have. It was pretty brutal. Flu, got aches and pains, and also very fatigued and lightheaded. It's taken me a week to recover. I'm sorry to hear that, but also glad that you are getting over it. A week, yeah, that's shitty. I honestly haven't been sick or had a fever or anything since before this pandemic started. John Vance says, if you say your Shahada, you can have up to 4 wives. I did not know that. Duncan says, I'll drive out to Norfolk sometime. Let me know when you're coming out that way. If I'm in the area, I'll let you come by our place and just show you around, even Long Point, the beach and stuff in Norfolk. Super beautiful area, man. If you've never been there, it's definitely worth checking out. Like I said, a lot of very PPC kind of area. More people voted conservative still, but that's because most people, like I said, are just voting out of brand loyalty and kind of stupid at this point. Dubai, 0% corporate tax. John, when you got sick, did you just deal with it yourself at home, or did you go to a clinic or talk to anyone about it? Did you get reported as a statistic? Because I suspect that the authorities are just treating every person with the flu as a COVID stat if they can find a way to just record it as that. Tube Guy says, you ever come to Texas, I'll show you around. We can get some kick-ass barbecue. No doubt, that would be awesome, man. Texas barbecue. A big chunk of what I follow on Instagram is basically just barbecue food porn. And yeah, Texas barbecue looks amazing, man. So fake. I think Adamson's barbecue, on that note, was forced to shut down recently, which sucks. But my buddy had a party and he ordered tons of food from there, and it was super delicious. Damn, now I really actually wish they were still open. I could actually just order from them tomorrow. Bring Texas to, yeah. I got cousins down in Florida. Well, I got one cousin down in Florida, and all he seems to do is barbecue every day and post food porn pics of what he barbecues, and I guess works his day job and then just chills. It seems really cool down in Florida. I don't know what. How do we end up in a timeline where like China and Texas? Well, Texas makes sense. They were always based, but like Florida was kind of like a joke. But now it's like one of the tied for the most based part of the United States. It's really really odd to me. John says I dealt with it myself with home remedies. Yeah, good call, man. Good call. Glad you got over it. At least you're stronger now in theory. Better, stronger immune system. Just make sure you get lots of vitamin D, etc. Duncan Media says Canada sucks. It's become shitty. They've turned it shitty. Yep. So as long as I'm streaming, I just want to thank John and Umph again for super chatting in tonight. Super appreciate that, guys. Thanks everyone actually for participating in this chat and helping me test the stream. I'm pretty optimistic how this has gone in terms of my streaming quality, and because I was having issues like last year and stuff with the internet here for some reason. Things seem to be working good. Camera quality seems good. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. And Yuri, we gotta do some find time to do some training eventually, hopefully. Too bad the other guys aren't in GTA. There's also the possibility that shit will get really crazy before 2030, and you know, there will be some kind of war, and then there may be like a revolution where a third party or a third positions party actually takes over again or something, or fights back. You gotta imagine that like huge amounts of the population are gonna die off quick if any kind of real like catastrophe ever happens, and real food shortages and stuff. And most of the more self-reliant and stronger people are the people that are like on our side of things, generally speaking. Canadians, in hindsight, now I realize growing up, we've always been giant cucks and pussies, and like used to be proud of our like politeness and stuff, when really we're just basically like weak bitches. And I don't think we need to be rude the way like some parts of America get a reputation for per se, but like we definitely don't have to be these like bending over backwards, apologizing simps all the time. And we never really had any of the badassness that America had in terms of the way they were founded or how they fought for their freedom and everything. So it makes sense that we've just been completely pacified at this part. Oh, before I wrap up the stream too, I'm curious, does the Quran have what is the equivalent of revelations for Muslims in the Quran? Do they have like an end time, like a prophecy, and like how much does it align with anything that's in the Bible for Revelations, or is it completely different? I'm curious. Because I think I know you told me that in Islam the Antichrist is called the Dajjal, right? So I know Islam has a concept of the Antichrist. How is that like relative to, or in comparison to the Christian idea of the Antichrist? Duncan said I have 3-year-old. I'll bounce during anything that hits the fence. Sorry. Yeah, well, anyone with young kids right now is like a tough scenario to be in. You got to obviously prioritize that over everything. Tube Guy says, I know a lot of Canadian third positions are in favor of the U.S. annexing them. Thoughts? Yeah, if it come to that, depending on the context, I might support it. And there's also talk about like trying to like make a united like middle, like a middle, I don't know, connection between the, basically it's the coasts that are like super liberal, right, with the more sort of base people in the center of the country, in Canada. So, but there could be a straight line of like a union or something that goes straight from like what the center of Canada straight down to Texas. I think that's what the Plaid Army guys have been talking about. John Vance says the Muslim Antichrist is called Shaitan. Can you confirm that for me, off, or what's the deal? Is that true? I finally, because I wanted to start making videos on the Western canon and start with the basics, I finally got like a really nice copy of the King James Bible this year that I wanted to read cover to cover. Read most of it, ended up having to skip a bunch of it, like skim through a lot of it, which becomes sort of repetitive language, but really focused on parts I hadn't read before, and Genesis and Revelations. Really interesting. Now I need to basically eventually, reading a lot of books on Hinduism at the moment, but eventually I gotta get a Quran and also read it because I've never read it. I know almost nothing about the Quran. Also, guys, I gotta get up for training in the morning for boxing, and then I got another full day of work tomorrow, so I'm finding myself starting to struggle to keep my eyes open, so I'm gonna have to wrap this stream up in a few minutes. Just saying here, since we're curious and you asked, Surah Kaf, End Times content. Does the do the End Times discussed in the Quran talk about a war with like the Antichrist? I know Duncan's a pretty devout Catholic, so this is a really fun conversation between it. Sort of a Catholic, a Muslim, and a spiritual agnostic. John, I'm curious, John, how do you identify? Are you Catholic? Alright guys, I'm getting pretty tired and it doesn't seem like anyone's got anything specifically I want to talk about, so I just wanted to thank you guys again then for tuning to this stream. I'm going to try to start streaming a lot more frequently now that I know that the setup works well, and basically going to try to just do more news reporting and just mostly content curation, so bringing up stuff from the mainstream that you might have missed, and then hopefully getting out on location and doing more live streaming soon. But for tonight, man, thanks for tuning in, all of you guys. Anam, thanks so much for the super chats. You too, John, really appreciate it. And Tube Guy, Fanny, Duncan, Yuri, all you guys, thanks for joining the stream. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care.